It's the Tiny and Nate Show. I'm Tiny.
And I'm Nate, here to help you create time and money freedom through real estate investing
so that you can live a life full of impact and joy. All right. What's up? Here we go. Nate, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm so good. Tiny, how you doing, man?
I'm so good. I am stoked today. Well, I'm stoked every time we do this just because, like we're hanging out before we push the button to go. And so that's fun. So it puts me in a good mood. But the clickety clack, as we like to call it. But today, so you gave me a good reminder like 10 minutes ago. You're like, hey, remember, we're just making a podcast documenting our journey. And so sometimes I feel this pressure to like say genius things of like, this is going to be some gold nugget. And it's like the fact of the matter is they're getting what they paid for, which is zero, but they're actually so today it's like, hey, what are we actually doing this week? Like, what are we putting our time, effort, and energy into our business to grow it? Share that. It's like, duh. So as the title gives away, what your clients really think, we're focusing on some customer reviews, some testimonials, picking the brains of the people we've been, not slaving away, but like giving our hard effort to serve over the past year.
Right.
And it's going, hey, how do we do? Like, what did you think? Were you happy? Were you sad? Either way, we're going to learn, and just documenting that. So today we're going to share with our audience, our vast, wonderful audience, what it is that we did and do. Yeah, that's right. We love you. Is how do we do this? How do we go about asking them in a non-awkward, threatening way? And so it's pretty simple. So we're going to break it down. We even have an example to show. This isn't rocket surgery, as a past president like to say. It's pretty simple. And so we're just going to break it down. Does that sound good?
Absolutely. So I think it's good. It's good to point out, just a reminder to everybody, every time we go to a mastermind, we come away with nuggets. And then we take action on a handful of them because there's always more ideas. There's always more good ideas than the things you can do in a given week, right? So this is just one. And the challenge was, here's 6 questions to go ask your past clients. So what if we start with what the 6 questions are and then showing some examples and why we're doing this and maybe why another wholesaler, flipper, investor, real estate investor who's doing their marketing and working with clients would want to do this.
Totally. Let me start with those questions just so you kind of get the flavor of what we're doing. And then I'm going to go into why you add your comments, and then we'll show some examples like you said. So first one, and I think we have a little clip. I can click on this. If I hit this, what's it? Oh, snap. There it is. So how did you find us? This is such a rudimentary question, but it's easy to overlook. So how did you find us? Because if you think, hey, they actually found us over here, but they actually only remember you over here, that's good to know. Marketing spend. Might want to put that in the right spot. Were you skeptical? Were you skeptical when you found us? Do we sound too good to be true? Like, you never know. That's a pretty powerful question that can unlock some things you might be surprised by.
Well, everybody's skeptical when they look at modern advertising, right? So
well,
it's
true.
really fun to get that confession because the next person who's then watching this testimonial goes, I'm skeptical, but this person was skeptical and they made it through okay and got what they wanted. So yeah. It's like, of course they were skeptical.
Totally. It's like, reminds me of the wildebeest or whatever that show up to like the edge of the river. And it's like, well, I don't want to go first. You go first. I don't want to go first. There's alligators in there. Crocodiles. Like, hey, he made it over. I guess I'll try. That's a bad analogy, but it just cracks me up. Anyways, as consumers, we have that herd mentality. So
that's right.
So what made you sell to us anyway? So even though you were skeptical, why did you decide to move forward? That's a really insightful answer, or that's a great question to ask because it can really go like, wow, I didn't realize that part of our conversation or the communication was so impactful to you, but it was. It's great. And then what were your exact results? So, what did you take away from this? Did you get what you want? Did it not go like you wanted? Are you happy? That's a great one. And then would you recommend not would you, but who would you recommend? Now, this is assuming that you did a good job. So for like, you guys were terrible. Yeah, this was awful. So who would you recommend us to? Isn't it going to be real natural?
My enemy is my worst enemy.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend you on anyone. Hopefully that never happens. But if you're doing a great job and they're pleased with what you did for them, who would you recommend us to? Is a good one. And then last thing, this is really important for personal growth and actually moving your business forward. What's one thing that we could have done better?
Right.
Because there's always something. Now, they won't, this actually happened today. I asked this to everyone I did this with, and one of them, there was like, yeah, you could have done this better. And they were totally right. That would be assuming like massive responsibility for everything, which is great. I really love that. And the other one was like, nothing. You guys were awesome. I was like, thanks. So I wasn't fishing for a compliment, but sometimes it works out that way. So that was pretty cool.
Sure.
So those are the questions we ask. And we asked today, and we're going to continue to ask this whole week while we're doing this and gathering up this feedback and testimonial. Another thing I'll say is like, we weren't tricking anybody. What I said when I asked, hey, can I have you on for 5 minutes and just ask you a couple questions? If you were happy, we'd love to use it for a testimonial. If you're unhappy, we'd love to help educate the team, and so we can learn to get better. And so that was the premise. So there wasn't any like shadiness. So be clear with what you're going to use it for when you talk to customers.
Hey, real quick question. Did you happen to send these questions to them ahead of time, or did you not need to do that?
Somebody asked me to do that, and I can't remember who that was, but I think my answer was like, oh no, it's super simple. Like, it's just 5 questions I'm asking everybody. There's no right answer or wrong answer. It's whatever's true is what we want to hear from you. So it's, basically, how do we do, and some simple questions like that. And so like,
you refrained from sending it to them ahead of time so they couldn't pre-plan their answers and come up with something canned.
Absolutely. Because man, there's nothing worse than watching somebody who's like rehearsed everything they're going to say. And it's like, skip, boring. Don't believe it. Because, so good observation there. Don't send it to them ahead of time, because then they'll get all like prepared for it. And then you miss like the realness, the sparkle in their eyes go away. When they look up and they think about something, it's just stare into my computer or phone and like say these things that I tried to memorize. Don't do that.
And so practically, how did you actually get these? Are you calling these people? Are you Zooming them? Are you using StreamYard? What's going on?
Yeah. So that's actually a technical hurdle to jump, because, depending on what kind of phone you have, what software update you have, what carrier you use, like there's all these apps that you can do video calling on, but if yours doesn't work with theirs, then it just sucks. Recording it, that's another like just practical thing. How do you reliably record this? Do you use your phone? Do you do some kind of app? So I just went with Zoom. I said, everyone knows the name Zoom. It's 2022. If you haven't heard of it by now, whatever. They had to, some people had to download the app on their phone. So what I did is I called them, and initial call last week. Hey, can we do this time? Yes, great. Then I call them, send them some reminders during the day, like, hey, I'll see you at 3 today or whatever. And then when it was the time, I would call them on the phone. Hey, so stoked to get to talk to you today. Did you download the Zoom app, or is it on your phone? Okay, great. Then you can just click that link. If it's not, hey, just put me on speaker and I'll be your tech support. And I just stayed on the phone and helped, because one lady, Trudy, she's not a technical person. And it took us like 15 minutes. But she had to go into her settings on her iPhone and allow Zoom to have access to her microphone.
Right.
You're just going to face that stuff, but don't let that get in the way. I felt like pulling the cord a couple times. Like, I just can't do it. But persevere, and
persevere. It was good for you.
It was painful. And she, I felt like I was asking so much of her, but the truth of the matter is, like, she wanted to talk, and she like had nothing else going on. She's retired, and it was super fun. Like, we laughed together. She got to show me her new dog. Like, it was great. So I'm really glad
and
I did
her
that.
RV.
And it gave me like perspective of, okay, these are things I'm going to run into with the other folks. Just be prepared for it.
Yep. So I love that. We're definitely going to show a clip of Trudy in a little bit, but what if we were to show like a couple examples? We don't have to do the full clips, but of some of these questions. So the first one was, how did you find us? I've got a little clip here of Jennifer, how she found us. Can I play that for our peeps? Okay, so this is the first question I asked Jennifer. One thing you'll notice is she's in her car. I love this because video testimonials that feel real, unscripted, and unplanned and unprofessional always have that air and trigger must be a section in our brain that goes and triggers. This is real. I can trust this. Don't you agree?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, let's watch
If it
it.
feels too polished, especially now,
Yeah.
like if it feels too polished, it immediately triggers red flags in people's brain.
Right. All right. So let's just watch a couple seconds of Jennifer's testimony. First of all, do you remember how you found us, or did we find you?
You found me.
Okay, good. What was that first conversation like? Do you remember?
I was at the dog park on my Apple Watch, and someone called me, and I started talking to him, and just happened to be the right timing, I think, really, right when we were getting ready to start selling and moving and all that. So
love it.
On her Apple Watch in the dog park.
Yeah. Yep.
Hello.
What? Yeah. And John, I think John got a hold of her, and so I've seen that whole one, and she, like everybody else, has just bragged on John, which was really cool. But yeah, it's so real. So, the lighting amazing? No. Was she even in focus? Maybe, but it's just, this is a real conversation. That's what I don't want people watching this to lose sight of. Is like, the point is to have a real conversation, because you're trying to get an honest opinion out of somebody on, hey, did we do a good job for you? Did we serve you well? Right. People can get kind of squishy about this and go like, I don't want to. It's like, okay, but did you actually do a good job? Because if you did a great job for someone on the largest transaction they're probably ever going to do, is 5 minutes to like see if you did a good job really that hard of an ask for them? So
seriously, yeah.
Just put that in perspective of like, what did you help them out of and get to versus what you're asking from them. And it is an ask.
Yeah.
So just be super appreciative, but also, don't feel too squirmish about like, hey, can I have 5 minutes of your time? Or
I like
30,
that, squirmish.
Trudy,
I think you just invented a new word, by the way. Squirmish. I really like that. That's good.
Oh, squirmish is definitely a word. It's for sure. It's like squirming and squeamish. It's like squirmish. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I knew exactly what you meant when you said squirmish. Absolutely.
You're right. I didn't make that up. It's
okay. So Jennifer's, we just showed her the question, how did you find us? And then I've got a clip here from Trudy. Were you skeptical? Such a powerful question.
Yes, play it.
Okay, here we go.
Even though you were skeptical, had this terrible experience before, what made you sell your house to us anyways?
I just had a hard time selling it because it was commercial, on land. And so people were a little skeptical. Mm-hmm. And I just couldn't do it anymore. My house was big. And I mean, to me, I was by myself with my handicapped son downstairs, but I just couldn't take care of the yard anymore. And I just,
Yep.
I wanted out, even though I wanted out.
Yeah. No, it totally makes sense. So from working with us, what were the exact results that you got?
I was satisfied. Satisfied and I got everything I wanted, my fifth wheel in my truck,
That's right.
I was able to travel. And so, I have, and this is going to last me for many years.
Yeah, that thing is awesome. You have to start your own YouTube channel on how to travel the country with your own rig. And Toto.
I know, right?
Toto's your mascot.
Except I made 2 boo-boos coming up here. I got myself into 2 predicaments. And, have you ever been to Sedona?
I think I might have driven through it once, but I haven't spent time there.
Little tiny little streets. No, road, edges,
Yep. I know where that's going.
And no place to park. And all their parking lots are like miniature. I told my brother, I said, this is like a toy car town. And so I got myself in this predicament where I was a dead end street, but it wasn't supposed to be dead end. It was supposed to be, it was road construction.
Uh-huh.
So I had to turn around. And in the process of turning around, I busted out the back window of the truck.
Oh man, as soon as she said like small streets, I knew exactly what had happened. I was like, oh no.
Oh my gosh, that is the best. Oh man, if your testimonial videos make you laugh or cry, that's a good. That's a good.
You did it. You done did it.
Was she in her RV? Was she in her fifth wheel right there?
That thing is like in a state. It's so nice.
Okay.
So I was like, you need to do a YouTube video where you just like teach people how to do what you're doing. She was like, I don't know. I was like, well, you've already got the cute dog. That's half the battle.
She's got the dog.
But
she's got the fifth wheel. She was able to buy a big truck to pull it along with.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So that was so fun. That was supposed to be 5 minutes, and we talked for a half hour. Like, it was so pleasant and we talked about the house. So my point in bringing this up is, like, in this line of business, it is such a personal thing. Like, this is someone's home. Now, whether or not that piece of property has been a bane of their existence or has been a real blessing and it's a hard transition, we've helped some people in some really rough spots. Whatever the situation is, it's always personal. And so when I think the average that we spend interacting with someone is like 2.5 months. So we get to know these people, like, I know about her son and I know about the property and the problems there. So much about these people. So as a real estate investor, if you're doing more of the interacting with the actual seller, and solving problems, wholesale gets into this, can be, and like wholesale with a conscience, I like the caveat that these people are in pain a lot of times. And so when you are part of their solution, there's a bond that's formed there and a relationship. And so it might surprise you if you're like, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to spend my time. Like, it's really encouraged me to go through this week, last part of last week. Yeah. Just to be reminded, like, the difference we're making in folks' life. Not like, yay, we're awesome, but we really have an opportunity here to serve in a deep need, and to hear kind of, hey, they actually are happy. Like, that worked out really well for them. That was cool. It's meaningful.
Okay. So absolutely, there's a selfish component of this, which is when we take these videos and we put them on our website or in our marketing campaigns or in our future ads or whatnot, the intention is to build the confidence of future clients, right?
Absolutely.
The best way possible by hearing from people like them. But you end this. So the 5 questions again are 6. How did you find us? Were you skeptical? What made you sell to us anyway? What were your exact results? Who would you recommend us to? And what's one thing we could have done better? I think there's a piece of that if our friends and fellow investors out there ask that question, 2% improvement every month, every day, every month, by hearing back from your clients on what their experience is like. And maybe you can't do everything about every complaint or every wish they have, right? Totally. For example, I had a client who wished I could have found them a house, but in this market, she was like, I understand you couldn't. That wasn't your job. You weren't my realtor. You were buying our property. So, but asking that last question, what's one thing we could have done better? Have you learned anything by asking that? Or what's your intention behind asking that?
Yeah, my intention is straight up growth and improvement. If I think we're good at all aspects of our business, then I'm probably missing something. And so I want to know, because that feedback is so valuable. It's coming from the source. We're not putting a study group together or talking about it for hours, contemplating like, well, how do they feel about this? I'm just asking them straight up, like, hey, what could I have done better? And so if I can take that and implement it, like, that's going to push our business forward so much more than, being great at what we're already great at. That's gotten us to where we are. Right. But say we have a weakness, like I'm making this up, but say if we were really bad at closing, like, this is totally made up. We're awesome at this, but if we were bad at that or bad at communication, that would lead to frustration. It would lead to turnover, all kinds of problems would stem from that, but it's actually a strength. So just making sure that we don't have any like holes, on the team, or like, if we had, so John, for example, one of our teammates, if he did a bad job and I didn't know about it, and I was able to hear, like, actually he was really rude to me. It's like, oh, I need to go talk to that guy. So, I've never gotten any feedback like that, but just making sure that there's not a glaring problem that we're not aware of as business owners, I think is really important.
Right.
And who better to tell you than your customer, right?
Yeah. Perception is reality, right? So you might think you rocked it, but they're hanging on to something. And obviously, I don't think every customer is going to give you every little bit, because everybody has, varying degrees of transparency that they're willing. But even just asking the question, I think I'm a firm believer that that's going to give us 2% improvements every time we ask that question to somebody.
Well, and trust too, right? Like I asked Jamil, I ask everybody that question, but when I asked that question, that was something he referred to later, was like, hey, just the fact that you're calling me back and asking me this, like, makes me trust you even more.
Wow.
That was really cool. It's like, I'm not looking to do fast deals with people and like never see them again. It's like I as an investor and someone building in, these communities in the Northwest right now, I want to be known for being excellent to work with. I want people to associate our brand with problem solvers, great guys, able to do complex, confusing stuff and come out and like still be happy and be people who make win-wins. That's what's important to us. Your brand might be different. You might really want to be known for speed or whatever it is. Great. Make sure that's what you're tracking. Make sure what you're trying to accomplish is actually what you're accomplishing, and then fix for it as you go. That's what I would use that for. Another thing I was going to throw in there. Was you mentioned, so our selfish purpose in doing this is to utilize it for marketing and stuff in the future. One of the things I would say is, as a business owner and as an investor, well, not specifically investing, but just running your own business, if you don't have a sales background, and marketing can feel kind of squirmish or whatever the word was to you, you can have this weird feeling about using testimonials for marketing,
self-promotion, and
that can feel dirty, right? Like that can feel like, I don't know what I'm doing. So here's the deal. I think it's a conviction problem. And we've talked a lot about this, and you've helped me grow in this area a tremendous amount. So thank you. But the conviction is what I do at the end of the day. Is it making the planet a better place? Is it helping people? Is it truly helping people? Because if it is, then I shouldn't be shy about this. I owe it. It is a responsibility of mine to make sure as many people that I can serve know about me, so I can go serve them. So when we take testimonial videos and we chop them up and make them easy to consume and watch, that's not being greedy. That's not being dishonest. It's going, we know the attention span of our consumer is about that big. If we have a video that's this big, that doesn't fit. So we need to cater to what's going to get them the message, so we can get them from their stuck position to where they want to be. That's our job. That's why we get paid. We get people unstuck and where they want to go. And so that's,
you've heard it. You've heard it here first, folks. If you're feeling squirmish, about getting testimonial videos, get over yourselves. Get some conviction. Make sure you're actually helping people. Chuck that squirm in the back.
That's right.
Get your Zoom app and go call some of your old customers today. Do it now.
Do it. Right.
Do it now.
Squirmish or not, do it now. Oh, I'm going to be hearing that for a while, aren't I? Hashtag squirmish.
Hashtag squirmish.
Yeah.
Leave a comment below if you're feeling at all squirmish today, watching two grown men laugh like fifth graders about a made-up word. All right, this is so good. All right, so speaking of which, go ahead and subscribe if you want to follow our journey in real estate investing, the things we're learning. If you want if you're already a real estate investor, if you want to grow, if you want to get into this game, the whole point of this podcast and this YouTube channel is to document our journey. We don't know everything, but everything we learn along the way, we want to share it with you. We want to help you to earn 6 figures or 7 figures or 8 figures, whatever it looks like for you to have meaning and joy and time freedom in your life. So go ahead and subscribe to this channel if you're watching it wherever you are. We're on all the podcasts. What do they call them?
Podcast sites. Platforms,
podcast sites,
spaces.
Yep.
Where anybody can buy a nice podcast of any kind. Oh wait, that's books. That's right.
Sweet.
I'm glad you said that. Because
leave a comment.
Yeah. And I was like, oh shoot, I need to remember to watch this, all this other stuff. And if he hadn't said, hey, like the video and subscribe, I would have totally forgotten. So I'm glad you mentioned that.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do
it now. Like actually, I'm gonna wait for you. Go ahead.
Or they don't have to.
Fine, don't do it.
I mean,
squirmish about it, I guess. See,
all right, so there's our questions for the day. Go ask your clients these questions. I think it's going to be really powerful. If you'll probably learn something like we have been if you ask your clients these questions.
Love it. Awesome. Well,
Tiny.
Anything else?
Anything else?
Sir Nate? No, I'm good. I think we the last thing I'll say, I do have one thing.
There it is. Come on.
This is not going to happen if you're like, then that's a good idea. I should do that. Like,
that's true.
If you're still watching this, go on your calendar right now and schedule some time to freaking go do this. Call your past clients and just have a conversation and record it on Zoom. It's not that hard, but do it. You have to do it. That's all I had to say.
Do it.
Do it now.
Do it.
Tiny out.